Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Volume 3 from Hiro Mashima and Atsuo Ueda. So in the last volume our heroes had defeated the three members of the Diablos Guild, Kiria, Madmole, and Skullion. Although Skullion was laughing at the end, he said, "Oh, you think it's just the three of us? We'll retreat for now, but there's more members of the Diablos Guild and we'll get our revenge for sure next time." So that's just to inform you guys that, yes, there's more members of the Diablos Guild and they shall return. So stay tuned for that. And I do like Diablos, especially Kiria, for obvious reasons. So looking forward to the return of them at a later volume. We also saw Mercphobia transform and go completely berserk in his Water Dragon God form. And we learned that Toka, the White Mage, she didn't necessarily steal his powers, but stole his ability to control his powers, and so Mercphobia has become one of her pawns. And at the end of Volume 2, it showed Toka sipping tea as every member of the Fairy Tail Guild was laying on the floor, having had their powers drained away by her, and perhaps becoming her new pawns. So, we also saw Brandish, too. That was a nice reunion. We got this great chapter with Brandish and Lucy, and Brandish had rescued Gray. So, lots of good stuff in Volume 2, and lots of more good stuff in Volume 3. So, we'll start with the cover. In particular, we have Natsu preparing for an attack, looking completely badass with its Dragon Force form, all the dragon scales. I love it, man. I love Natsu's design. We have Lucy looking on, very concerned. Mercphobia in the Water Dragon God form. And then a new character right here, the Fire Dragon God Ignea, the son of Igneal. Well, one of the other sons of Igneal, because of course Natsu is the adopted son of Igneal. So, let's get right to it and see what happens. Oh yeah, so we have to keep reminding ourselves that because Mercphobia is the Water Dragon God, many of the characters are in their bikinis, because why the hell not? So, again, this guy is ravaging the land. They couldn't really do anything because, again, Natsu is the Fire Dragon Slayer, and this is the Water Dragon God. Wendy even tried to equip everyone with their guild emblems with dragon-slaying attributes, but to no avail. I mean, I guess Gray could theoretically freeze the water, but, you know, he's not a dragon slayer, so he can't. But Natsu continues to try, and he's flying up there with Happy to get an attack in. He tries, "Fire Dragon Kings, roar!" And you see, like, this huge blast going after Mercphobia, but then he gets a beam of his own, of water, and stops Natsu dead in his tracks. So, they're like, he put out Natsu's flame. No shit, it's water against fire. Water's gonna win, of course. So, everyone's getting submerged in the water. No match. But Natsu continues to fight on, and he's on top of Mercphobia's head. And he tries, "Dragon Slayer, secret technique, Crimson Flare, Flaming Blade." And he gets a punch in there. But again, it doesn't do anything, and the fire goes out. And again, they question, his flame's been extinguished. Well, yeah, water beats fire. So, Natsu gets swallowed by this water vortex. Gray's trying to freeze it, it's no match, and they're all looking on like, "No, Natsu, what's happened?" He's gone. However, just as all hope seems lost, another dragon appears and grabs him, and you see like these eyes. "You will not have him, you holy water dragon. He's mine." And they see the eyes, and they feel like his energy, his magic energy. It's a dragon, and this dude literally looks just like Igneal, except a few different features, including the orange hair, the tattoo markings. He's got like more teeth there. But this is one of Igneal's other sons, Ignea, and you know, you get a comparison. That's Ignea, that's Igneal, and Natsu's like, "Ignea? Is that Igneal? How are you connected to Igneal? Who are you?" And he starts giving a pep talk, saying, "You're just gonna roll over to him? It's pathetic." And he actually says up here that Mercphobia was only using half his power, and they're like, "Half his power? If that's it, then we're really no match." But Ignea is trying to do a little pep talk here, and he starts powering up. And says, "The very flames of hell!" And he starts burning the whole city. He evaporates all the water around the city and instead turns it to flames. And then it shows the townspeople, "Are we being tested by the gods? Oh, help us." And then he starts laughing. burn it down. He's like Axel, burn, baby, from Kingdom Hearts, that is. So Natsu's getting all pissed off, like, come on, put it out. What are you doing? You're just going to destroy the whole town? And Ignia tells Natsu that despite being at an elemental disadvantage, water beating fire, his fire is so strong it evaporates the water. And we've seen in the past that Natsu has the ability to power up by consuming fire. So Ignia says, eat my flames and gain my power. And you can beat him. But Natsu's thinking like, you're kind of like a bad guy. You just attacked the whole town. Do I really want your flames? So Ignia continues to talk to him. And he says, oh, you already picked up on it, right? On Ignial's scent. And he turns into his human form. I am the fire dragon god Ignia, the true son of Ignia. Look at this dude, man. Look how badass he looks. He kind of does look like Natsu in a way, except, Natsu has pink hair compared to the orange hair. And I know Natsu isn't technically Ignial's son. He's the adopted son. So yeah, he's the true son of Ignial because he's his offspring by blood. Which, do dragons lay eggs? Like, how does that even work? Maybe they explained it early on. Because, Irene, she was a dragon slayer who turned into a dragon and then had Urza. But anyway, I don't know. So he's just displaying his power and mocking Natsu. Like, you claim to be the son of Ignial. I'm the true son of Ignial. And, what's it going to take for you to snap? Do I have to kill your friends one by one? And that really pisses Natsu off. You see his face like, you don't talk about my friends like that. So Natsu tries to punch him. And it looks like Natsu uses his full force, but Ignial just catches him. And then Ignia says, oh, you get strong when you're riled up, huh? Well, then use that power against mercphobia. And then he flees. We'll meet again. Natsu turns into his dragon and flies away. So we will see Ignia again. Awesome reveal to see him and basically say, like, oh, I'm a bad guy, or am I a bad guy? But you got to take my powers if you want to defeat this other guy. But Natsu doesn't want to do it because he's like, he's evil. He's not really Ignial's son. Who is this asshole? That son of a... So Happy's panicking. Oh, the fire! Come on, Natsu, eat the flames! And he's getting pissed off. I don't want that bastard's fire! But Gray is saying, come on, you gotta do something. This whole place is gonna burn down. Damn it all! So Natsu eats the fire anyway. And awesome scene. He gets the scales, the dragon force. I can feel the power. I'm burning with it. I'm all fired up. So supercharged, he races to mercphobia. And this almost looks like, I know it's the dragon force transformation, but it almost looks like END when, Natsu turned into a demon in the final arc of the original series with his eyes, right? So he's just wreaking havoc here. And despite, again, having fire, he's going to defeat mercphobia, who is water. And that's because he was given the flames of Ignia. And the flames are so strong that it'll evaporate the water. And yeah, again, just his design. And then Lucy, everyone's looking on like afraid. And Lucy's like, no, I'm scared of Natsu. And she's never scared of Natsu. Natsu's her best friend. So he's going in for another attack. We get this awesome shot of Natsu again with the eyes. Fire Dragon King's brilliant flame. This almost looks like a Kamehameha from Dragon Ball, though, doesn't it? Like the way he's charging it up. Brilliant flame. And again, it evaporates all of mercphobia's water and defeats him. And like the flame is so hot, it's burning Natsu's arms. And I know Caramel, she said earlier, like just kill him, put him out of his misery. But as she's watching this now, she's watching all this battle unfold. She's like getting sad, like, no, he can't die. We gotta stop him. So now that he's down, he wants everyone to help him to get some of their last attacks in. And you see these two looking on, Lucy and Caramel, like, no, don't do it, don't kill him, Natsu. Demolishing strike. Because yeah, that's the thing, Natsu, he always wants to avoid killing people. Like he doesn't mind defeating his opponents, but he always has this optimistic look that we can change people and they can be our friends. So mercphobia's been defeated. His mouth's wide open. Smoke because the water's all been evaporated. And he's panting. And he's like, we aren't done yet. That body's still here. It must burn. all of it to ash, and he's gone completely crazy, man. And now they're looking at him like, no, Natsu, don't do it. That's not like you. You defeated him already. You don't have to kill him. And Lucy comes in from behind to try and stop Natsu. And that snaps him back to normal because I guess having consumed Ignea's flames, it turned Natsu evil in a certain sense. But his girl saves him. And everyone's watching like, no. And it's so hot. It's burning Lucy's shirt off. My goodness. So she saves her man. And again, look when it turns it back to normal. His arms are all like blood showing, like the skin's burned off. What just happened to me? But he's back to normal. So with that, he's thinking about what happened. And he says to Happy that after he ate those flames, I wasn't the real me anymore. And wait a minute, what happens here? Lucy shows up and punches him from behind. And she's like, oh, I got burned for you. Because, yeah, what happened if we go back a second? Her shirt got burned off, right? And she's hugging him from behind. Her titties on Natsu's back. And she says, I got seriously burned thanks to you. Burns on a sweet maiden's chest. Can you imagine? And Natsu lifts up her shirt. They look fine to me. You gotta love Natsu. So Lucy gives her a few more hits to the head. But I mean, what does she care? Remember in the final arc when she had to warm Natsu up and she was like snuggling with him naked? Now she's concerned about Natsu getting a peek? I don't know, man. But hey. So she saved her man, and now they can look on a bright future. And I'm sure once this eventually gets animated with color and everything, this will be a beautiful shot of them looking on the city. But, with that, man, someone should do a counter. In the 3 volumes I've reviewed so far, every time Carmel shows up, we start with her ass cheeks. Every single time. So she brings Merphobia. He's on his crutches. He's better now. And because of that battle, he's lost all his magic power, and he's just reverted to being a human. So, in a sense, on the 100 Years quest, they've defeated and sealed away the first dragon god. And as we saw with Merphobia's introduction, he's not a bad guy, and now that he's a human, he agrees that it's for the best, and he's going to spend the rest of his time living as Merphobia and rebuilding the town with everyone. So, a sweet ending there. Everyone's looking on like, oh, so sweet. That's settled then. So it cuts back to Elefsaria, of course, who gave Natsu and friends the quest, and sees that the one dragon is disappearing from the seal and says, one of the 5 dragon gods has fallen. No one has done this in over 100 years. I guess those people can really do it. They'll complete the 100 Years quest after all. So then it cuts over here to the Diablos Guild, and we have the guild master talking to his pawns, like, oh, that fairy tale guild, huh? And look at this, he's eating a steak. Like, what the hell, man? He's eating a steak, he's squeezing the damn thing, and I guess he's just drinking the juices? And it's going, the only way to enjoy meat is to drink it? I guess so. So we meet the guild master of Diablos, George Risen. He's got all these scars. It looks pretty cool. All his scars and whatnot. He kind of looks like, what the hell is the guy's name from the Sabretooth? The guild, Jedi? I forget his name, but you know who he is. The former guild master of Sabretooth. Kind of looks like him. So back over here, we have members from Sabretooth, Speak of the Devil, Sting, Rogue, Frosh Selector, and Yukino, who make their way to Fairy Tale, only to find that they're not there. And I guess Sorno's with them, too. But no one's there. So Toka is on this boat now, looking for the rest of the fairies. Remember, she stole away all their powers at the end of Volume 2. And now they're talking to Merphobia, trying to figure out about Ignea. And he says, you know, that he's Igneal's son. And he's trying to guide them for the other dragon gods as to where they are. So he says, Ignea, we've already discussed, he's the fire dragon god. He's devastated countless lands. Then there's the wood dragon god, Alderaan. The moon dragon god, who they don't say what her name is quite yet, although I know her name. I won't say just yet. And then interesting though, Why do they say it's just the moon dragon god? They don't say her name, but then the metal dragon god, Verniers. But we will see the moon dragon god soon enough. Well, we'll see the wood dragon god first, but that's beside the point. So they send them on their way, and oh my god, I'm not just saying this, am I? Every time we see Caramel, we see her fucking ass. Every single time. Again, I'm not complaining, it's just an observation I've made. So, I guess they're going to become a romantic couple now. And a sweet ending for them. And he says, because she keeps calling him Sujin-san, all right? Because that means water dragon god, or just water god, really. He says, call me Mercphobia, I'll call you Mursama. So there you go. So now our friends continue. And Lucy's leading the way. I always love how every time it sort of changes arcs, Lucy always has a new outfit. Always love that. So Urza looks at the map and notices that there's no railroads. But then she's like, wait a second, it appears that the railroads have just been erased. And she starts attacking Natsu and Wendy because they erased the railroads from the map because they don't want to travel on that because of their motion sickness. So it says, we gotta walk. But Urza's like, no, we'll go on the railroads. So they gotta make their way to this next area. Of course, they started in Ermina. Well, actually, they started here with Elisaria. Then they went to Ermina. Then they're going to go to Tekka. And then Drazel in search of the wood dragon god. And we have Lucy writing in her journal. Although remembering what happened with Natsu with his transformation. And of course, this is the ladies' room. But Natsu peeks in. It's like, get out of here, you pervert. This is our room. Go back to your own room. Natsu asks for a marker. And he paints everyone's face with a marker. So, they make their way to the town of Tekka. And they're talking to the trains. And then Urza's like, I got all this luggage. I can't run with that. Like, wait a minute. Where'd this luggage come from? So they're looking here. And then they notice this other woman who looks just like Urza, who turns out is Elkis. And this is not Edalus. Remember in Edalus? Well, her name was Urza in Edalus too. They all had the same names. It was just like the different versions of themselves. Like Lucy was evil Lucy. Well, not evil Lucy, but more menacing Lucy. Natsu had a car in Edalus. But these aren't the Edalus versions. These are just like the different alter egos in Giltina. And they're part of the Fairy Nail Guild. Like, what? What kind of name is that? And it's the Talent Guild. Okay, so we have all these different alter egos, everybody. We have Naku-san. Like, what? What is he doing? We have, what's Lucy's name? Lucia. Lucia. We have Gren, who's a pole dancer, which I guess does fit Gray because he does strip in the fairy tale universe. We have Juvina, who is a topless dancer. Okay. Wendell. Charlotte. What's Gajiel's name? Panther Lily is Bibby, because of Lily. Gazelle or Gaziel and Wajili. Mina Jane and Lasella were fashion off. Wait a minute, what the hell is Elf and a cross-dresser? We have Elbaman. Laxlis. Who else is there? What's Kana's name? Kara. Rocky the porn star. Oh my god. This is just a way to lighten the mood after a hard-fought battle and to get us to chuckle a little. So, I definitely laughed my first time reading it. So they continue. They find the train and they're trying to make their way to the wood dragon god, and we get this moment of Gray thinking about his love, Juvia. It's surprising that he's finally admitted it, because, I mean, Juvia loves him, but he's always been kind of like, get away from me, woman. But, you know, he finally admits it. So, the train starts moving. And Natsu gets his motion sickness, has Lucy's lap to fall on. And then it turns out that the Urza on the train is really Elkis, and Urza stayed behind to perform for the Talent Guild. So here she is singing, my dearly beloved. And they're all booing her and throwing shit at her. They love me. Oh, do they now? So they're going to the city of Drazel. And Gray is taking a moment to relax a little bit. And then he sees what he thinks is Juvia, but it's really Juvina. And she thinks it's Gren. And talking about being the topless dancer, she says, "Oh, would you like a look? I'll give you a look." And then Greg just strips anyway. So they have a little bonding moment here. And Gray is trying to get some advice as to what to do about his Juvia. Right? So, and he has this moment here where he says, "Juvia means the world to me." So she leaves and gives Gray a nice present, which, my goodness. So she says goodbye, and after getting that glimpse of her beautiful body, I'm sure, he remembers, he's reminded of why he loves Juvia and how she has the same beautiful body, but has the scar that he gave her at the end of the final arc from the original manga. And he says, he's essentially confessing his love to Juvia now, but says he just wants to get more confidence and become more powerful so I can protect her. I swear I'll make her mine. So I love this moment. After so many volumes and so much teasing, Gray finally admits that he loves Juvia. Now we're just waiting for Natsu and Lucy to be a thing. And I guess Urza and Jalal to be a thing later on. So, with that, they're trying to find everybody again. Oh, and Juvia's whispered in his ear, like, "Oh, that's our little secret. Don't tell anyone that I flashed you." So they're trying to find everyone again. They're all back and on the train now that we have the real Urza after her detour performing. And Gray's thinking about Juvia. I wonder how she's doing. And then Urza's like, "Oh, you're thinking about Juvia finally." And as he says that, they all look up like, "Who's that? Is it Juvia? She's here? It's been a long time, Gray saw, but Juvia is here now." And just thinking for a minute, at the end of Volume 2, Toka sacked away all the energy, all the magic energy from everybody. They're all lying lifeless on the floor. And we learned that Mercphobia was Toka's pawn. So is this, maybe it's the real Juvia? I mean, I know all this. I'm just putting this out there for any new readers. What if this is a pawn of Toka now? My goodness. So they made it to Drazel, which is like the big capital of Giltina, and it's said to be where Alderaan, the wood dragon god, is. And they're thinking about what's going on. Gray is sort of suspicious of how Juvia even got here. And they can't reveal what the 100 Years quest is to Juvia because she wasn't there at the initial accepting of it. So they decide to go to this restaurant, and they're all having a great time. Look at this! Juvia, eat me, Grayson! What? My goodness. So they're walking around, and we get a sweet moment with the two of them. And then Juvia snaps a little bit. Her eyes start going dizzy and says she remembers someone who joined the guild who she was suspicious of, and says to Gray, "Beware the white mage," and then she passes out. So as that happens, the ground starts shaking. And they're like, "What is going on here? What's the meaning of this?" And the townspeople are like, "Oh, this happens the same time every day. It's just part of the routine. You know, we just pray. It'll stop." So as that happens, the town moves itself. You see, this is like a giant hand. And Drazel is the right hand of Alderaan, the wood dragon god. Holy crap, man. So you saw the scope of Mercphobia. This guy, just his hand, the capital of the whole continent is on the dude's hand. So how are they going to stop him? So a good cliffhanger right there. Lots of questions. And again, another great volume. I love Fairy Tail. I'll keep telling you, I love Fairy Tail. So I have a lot of bias here, but it's a good series. So we get a bonus here of Juvia practicing her kissing for Gray-sama in the mirror, and tells Urza that she should practice for when she kisses Jalal. And she starts kissing this window as Jalal walks by. So there you have it. And there's no afterword there. But yeah, I enjoyed this volume quite a bit. I loved seeing Ignia. Great design. We will see him again in the future. I love Natsu's transformation and the fact that his girl saved him. And I also love these seeds too. So funny, man. So funny. And then it was nice to get Gray finally confess his love to Juvia. So, lots of good stuff. Stay tuned for my review of Volume 4, where our heroes face off against Alderaan, the Wood Dragon God, and perhaps get more answers as to what Toka and her powers really are. So, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Peace out.